The Bundoran Weekly is brought to you by AIB, supporting local businesses in Bundoran. For more, see aib.ie.
Hi everyone, it's Shane Smyth, Bundoran Tourism Officer. It is Friday the 10th of June 2022 and I'm here with you for the Bundoran Weekly podcast, episode 189. It is the podcast that talks about everything Bundoran. We are getting into festival season. We're just a week away from Sea Sessions. We'll be talking more about that in a few minutes time. But we will be talking to Mary Daly of the Ballyshannon Folk and Traditional Music Festival as our interview on this week's podcast. The festival had to go online and go virtual for the past couple of years, but it is back in full real life over the August bank holiday weekend, and a fantastic lineup they've got as well. So we'll be chatting to Mary in a few minutes time. Meanwhile, we have lots of entertainment happening across this weekend. In the Allingham tonight, it is music with Tom Moran. Tomorrow night, The Contractor. Robert Mizell then is the main dance, and that is tomorrow night in the Ballroom. Mark Black is at Key West on Sunday evening between 5 and 7. Sinead McLaughlin in the main bar there in the Coolmore Bar. And then the ABBA Sensations tribute show is on this Sunday night. €20 admission for that, and tickets are available on the door. The Contractor there on Monday night, and Tuesday night it is music with Kieran Macquarie. Saturday at the Bird's Nest, it's music with John Dolan and Martin Cuff. Sunday it's Aidan Clarkin, and then tonight at the Chase and Bull it's music with Hybe. Undercover Martians there tomorrow night, and Sunday it is the great Mark Black. Don't forget Thirsty Thursdays continue each and every Thursday night at the Bank Bar. George's Bar on Saturday night, it is Gimada, and then on Sunday the usual trad session is on from 3 until 5 p.m. John Meehan at the Railway Bar tomorrow night, and then tonight at 51 Main Street it's music with Gary Doherty. Jimmy Gallagher there tomorrow night, and then on Sunday night it is music with Jerry McGinley. Live music across this weekend at the Celtic Marine Bar, and a special performance from the Irish Chamber Orchestra. They're playing at the Abbey Arts Centre in Ballyshannon. That is on tomorrow night, and tickets are still available for that. If you would like to go to the cinema this weekend, well, new out is the big one, Jurassic World Dominion. I'm really excited to see that one. From the first movie, Jurassic Park, that was released in the early 1990s, and this is the final ever Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Dominion, and it is new out this week, and that is at Eclipse Cinemas. Missed It Mondays is Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore, and that is this Monday night. And then the full schedule, of course, is on our website, or indeed at eclipsecinemas.com as well. Elsewhere, the craft market is happening across Sea Sessions weekend, Saturday 18th, Sunday 19th of June from 11am to 3pm daily, and that is at Bundoran Community Centre. And Sea Sessions is almost on the verge of selling out. Last few tickets remaining at Ticketmaster if you want to get yourself down to Bundoran this day next week. After all the talk, after all the years of postponements and cancellations, it is back. It is 7 days away, and we are so excited to have Sea Sessions back here in Bundoran from the 17th to the 19th of June next weekend. And also Bus Éireann have announced special services as well, from Bus Áras in Dublin City Centre to Bundoran, and then return again on Monday. So that is happening as well. You'll find more details about that on our website, discoverbundoran.com, and also on our website as well is the update on all of the events that are happening across this weekend and next weekend. Many of the pubs have live music as well as being on in Sea Sessions as well. There's live music across town too, so we'll have that updated as best we can over the next week, so that you'll know exactly what's going on here in Bundoran across Sea Sessions weekend. Always a good atmosphere around town, even if you're not here for the actual Sea Sessions. There's always a good atmosphere around town, so do try and make your way down to town for that. discoverbundoran.com/events is where you will find all of that information. Very soon we're going to be talking to Mary Daly from the Ballyshannon Folk and Traditional Music Festival about the event. It is back, it is happening in real life, and it is back across the August bank holiday weekend. And we'll also be hearing from Teresa O'Neill in the Community Corner from Bundoran Community Centre. That's all on the way here on the Bundoran Weekly podcast.
The Bundoran Weekly.
I'm Shane Smyth, Bundoran Tourism Officer. Don't forget we are on Instagram at Discover Bundoran, and if you're taking photographs, if you're in and around Bundoran, then do use the hashtag Discover Bundoran. It helps us find the photos of Bundoran a little bit easier, and we like to feature them in our feed as well, so don't forget to find us there. Right, it is back. It is happening for the first time since 2019, as of course are a lot of events, but none more so than the Ballyshannon Folk and Traditional Music Festival in its 45th year this year. And the guys who are organising it and running the event are quite excited about it. I caught up recently with Mary Daly. Mary, it was 3 years ago, I think, we sat at the Sandhouse Hotel in Rossnowla. We were outside. We were talking about my pager went off. We were talking about the Ballyshannon Folk and Traditional Music Festival for 2019, and that was the last time we would talk about a live one in person.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the night. It was the night of our official launch in the Sandhouse, and we were discussing what was coming up on that year. And I suppose little did we know then that it would be 3 years before we would have another live event. But having said all that, I suppose looking back, 2020 was a curveball for everyone, for all festivals, and there was an awful lot of uncertainty around it. So I suppose things were organised virtually at very late notice, really. And I have to say a huge thank you to all the artists for supplying pieces for our virtual festival, and we went ahead with it over the weekend. It was very emotive, actually, because that time it was very new into the pandemic, and we actually got a lot of really nice comments from our diaspora and from people who have travelled to the festival over the years, and I suppose they were reminiscing and wondering when they'll get out again to live music. So that was really good to do. And then last year we had a little bit more time to plan, and we were able to, I suppose, step it up a gear in terms of we recorded some lockdown sessions here in the Abbey Arts Centre and also down in McIntyre's pub in Ballyshannon. And we had another virtual festival which proved very successful. But I have to say, we are absolutely delighted to say we are back in person this year, live at the Marquee over the August Bank Holiday weekend, which is in July, Shane. Yes.
So the Monday the 1st of August is the actual bank holiday, but the festival runs the 28th of July to the 31st of July.
That's correct, yeah. So it's always been, I mean, it's on the calendar over, this is our 45th year now. It's always been the August bank holiday weekend, and as you say correctly, it depends when the Monday falls. But that's when we are, and we're delighted, absolutely delighted to be able to welcome people back to our Erin town again here in Ballyshannon.
So putting the plan and putting the programme together, was it easier this year to kind of to pull people in because they knew it was going to be in person, or did you have the same challenges, let's say?
Well, I suppose there was some challenges because obviously you're looking at this very early in the year, which was still a lot of uncertainty, and plus the fact that bands were trying to organise tours. So a lot of bands would say that hadn't travelled over the last 2 years. There was they were having a lot of opportunities, I suppose, to travel, and they didn't want to tie in gigs maybe in Ireland when they might have
something in Germany a month or whatever. Yeah,
absolutely. So there was still a bit of uncertainty with bands and that, but it took a wee bit of time to get things organised, but we're all
systems go.
All systems go
Guns
now,
blazing.
and we're delighted to say, we're absolutely delighted that we're back.
Okay, well, talk me through the lineup then, Mary. I know the one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing is the 25th anniversary of Charlie McGettigan and Paul Harrington, the 25th anniversary of them winning Eurovision.
Yeah, that was actually to happen in 2020, and that would have been
Which
the 25th,
would have been the actual 25th
anniversary, but as we know, that didn't happen. So,
yeah. And 27th anniversary doesn't have quite
fantastic.
The same ring to it.
Yeah. So we're still calling it the 25th anniversary, and it'll be the first time that the two have actually played a concert in Ballyshannon, which of course Charlie is synonymous with Ballyshannon, and would have worked up in the ESB and grew up in Ballyshannon, and it's his first time to come back, so we're calling it he's coming home, so that's here in the Abbey Arts Centre on Thursday the 28th of July at 8:30. Now tickets for that are on the Abbey Arts Centre page, website, so that's abbeyartscentre.ie. Abbeycentre.ie. So it's www.abbeycentre.ie. abbeycentre.ie, and tickets for that are going quite quickly. So if people don't want to miss that, they should get their tickets. So the rock and roll kids are definitely coming back to Ballyshannon.
And I bet they're going to leave it to the last too.
And it's great to have them, and we're really looking forward to that. So I suppose that's our first concert as such of this year's festival. Now we do have, I suppose, our opening event at 7:30 on that evening on the 28th, on the Thursday, and we're delighted to say that Mick Blake will be joining us for that. Now, Mick Blake won our song for Ballyshannon last year. We had to adapt over the last 2 years as well, and not run our showcase. Now, showcase is normally for emerging talent or for talent that just want to take it to the next level. So instead of having that live event, we went for a song for Ballyshannon, and we opened it up in the genre of folk and traditional for someone to write a song kind of outlining the history of Ballyshannon. And the winner of that...
Feat.
No mean feat. It is the oldest town in
Yes,
Ireland.
yeah.
So,
A lot of history.
but I mean, if you listen to the song, it is amazing the amount of history that Mick has got into it. And Mick is originally from Letterkenny, living in Leitrim, and so he will be joining us in person here in the Abbey Centre that evening. He'll play some music, and of course we have Barry Britton's festival poster exhibition. Now Barry, of course, is our resident artist. He does our poster, which is iconic at this stage every year. Our posters can be seen all over the world. So that's, I suppose, a forerunner to the Charlie McGettigan and Paul Harrington concert here in the Abbey Centre.
And that's only Thursday.
And that's only Thursday. So deep breath
carry on.
now, Shane.
There you
Carry
go.
on.
And as I said 3 years ago when we sat in front of each other at the Sandhouse Hotel in Rosnella, Mary is doing all of this off the top of her head. She has no notes in front of her.
No notes.
So close to
Nothing like being organised. Okay, so then we moved down to the Market Yard, and we're live at the Marquee. And starting off our Friday night. Now, the first act on each night will be some of the winners from our showcase competition, which will be held at the end of June, and I'll tell you about that later on. But starting off, the first band for this year's festival down in the Marquee will be The Messages, and that's made up of locals, Senan Brennan, of course, who plays with Keela, Jamesy McIntyre and Fiona Fitzpatrick, and they're joined by some other musicians as well. So The Messages, they've come up with this name, and I suppose that name was always well known years ago. You were always going for The Messages. It was never the shopping, it was always The Messages. So then we move on, and we have No Crows, of course, featuring Steve Wickham from the Waterboys fame. They were with us a few years ago and went down really well, and we're delighted to have them back. And rounding off the Sligo theme that night, we have Dervish, our headlining on the Friday night. So moving then to the Saturday night, again, our showcase winners, and following that we have Muddlers Club. Now they're from Northern Ireland, and they're I suppose Celtic folk. They're really lively, so we have those, and they're followed by Dave Munley's band. Now Dave Munley again has played in the Marquee a few years, and very lively session. So we have Dave back, and rounding off our Saturday night we have Keela. So it'll be a very lively night down in the Marquee. Then we move to Sunday night, and Sunday night we start off with Garadice. Now Garadice features Eleanor Shanley and a lot of Leitrim musicians, and they're followed then by Martin O'Connor Band. Now the Martin O'Connor Band features, of course, Cathal Hayden and Shamie O'Dowd. And then rounding off, I suppose, our festival and the Sunday night, we have the Red Cortinas. Now, people have asked, who are the Red Cortinas? The Red Cortinas are, I suppose, an amalgamation of a few different bands and musicians locally, made up to, I suppose, play the hits of the Saw Doctors.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so mixed in some other music as well, but primarily they'll be playing all the hits of the Saw Doctors.
Funny enough, when you said Red Cortina, that was the first thing that came into my head was the Saw Doctors. So
yeah. So it's a great name. So it features John Meehan, Farah Bogle, Jason Kelly, Seamus Gallagher, and some other surprises as well. So the Red Cortinas will be a lively ending off to our 2022 festival. So Shane, that's the lineup. We, I suppose, have thought about it and putting it together and making sure that the entertainment value is there for everyone, and also that people are getting value for money. Like, there's a lot of bands there for covered in your weekend ticket. So just to mention tickets are on Eventbrite. And you can get the links directly on our Facebook page, or if you go in Eventbrite and search Ballyshannon Folk Festival, it will come up. Or you can check out everything on our website, which of course is www.ballyshannon.folkfestival.com. But all the details are on all our social media as well. So just to look, I suppose, at our showcase competition as well, Shane, I alluded to that. Our showcase competition, we had run it every year, but over the last 2 years we had to adapt. But it's really looking at giving a platform for emerging talent, or I suppose bands and solo artists that have been around for a few years but just want to maybe step it up a notch. Like past winners, for example, would be Aoife Scott, Bill Wood, the Jeremiahs. So we've, they're coming from a good stead there in terms of the talent base that apply for our showcase. So our showcase will take place this year on Thursday, the 30th of June. All the details, again, are on our website in terms of sending in entries. For bands, they just have to send in an example of their work. And so there's two categories. There's solo category and a band category. And then, as well as winning cash prizes, there's also an opportunity to play in front of all those bands live at the marquee. So, and also, I suppose, over the last few years, we are twinned with the Sláinte Festival in France, which takes place in March every year. And we go out to that and they come out here. And we have found that our showcase bands as well have also had an opportunity over the last few years to go out there and play. So it is, it's really something that I would encourage as many local and faraway bands and solo artists in the folk and traditional genre to apply to, because it really is, it gives leverage, I suppose, and in terms of their career path.
Talk to me about the team of people that you have, and I guess you have sponsors as well that you want to say thank you to. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, as you know, nothing can be run without sponsorship and without funding that we get. So I want to acknowledge, obviously, Fáilte Ireland and Donegal County Council for their funding, but also for our corporate sponsors, for our accommodation sponsors, the Sandhouse Hotel in Rosnowla, and also all the local sponsorship that we get, through our programme, through, different avenues, all the local shops and everything that are very supportive every year. And without those people, we just really wouldn't be able to, as you know, these things cost an awful lot of money to put on, and it really just wouldn't be viable for us. In terms of the people involved, a few years ago when we moved to the marquee, we moved, I suppose, the governance of the festival to a limited company, and we have a number of directors. So we have Ewan Doyle as our chairperson, we have Billy Grimes as our treasurer, John Meehan, myself involved as directors, and then we have a host of different people that volunteer every year. So we have people that do, we'll say, David McDonough that does all our website, and we have Anthony Travers that looks after all our some fringe events. We have our outdoor street entertainment, our safety officers look after the marquee, and Daniel Grimes and his team look after that. So there's different elements, kind of little subgroups that look after. And then over the bank holiday weekend, a lot of people locally help out, volunteering in the festival office, volunteering, helping stewarding during the festival. So it's really a team of people that put this together. And everyone is working on a volunteer basis, which is, I suppose, the ethos of the festival. There isn't anything commercial in relation to this.
Finally, where do your guests come from, your visitors?
Okay. Well, I suppose we have people, and I know the last time I spoke to you about, and I was looking forward to meeting them, we had people as far away as Alaska had booked. Of course, now you can trace where everyone is coming from, because through Eventbrite or the different platforms you can see where they're booking from. So we do get a lot of people from the States, but I suppose primarily our overseas people would be European, French and German mainly, with a few Scandinavians. But French and German would be, primarily our base, I suppose, in Europe for travellers coming. And then we get people from all over Ireland, England, Scotland. We always had a great tradition with bringing people over from Scotland to the festival, and mix in with that, of course, all the local people as well, which without the local support, and just to mention as well, I suppose over the weekend we have our ticketed events, but there's loads of live entertainment as well for people on the street, which is free of charge. It's family friendly, and people can come along on the Friday afternoon into early evening, all day Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, live on the gig rigs. So there'll be lots of music for people to enjoy as well, and hopefully the weather will be as good as expected, over the August bank holiday weekend. It really makes it when the weather, for the atmosphere and things like that. So we're looking forward to it now, Shane. Everything is going ahead as planned in terms of all the planning, from everything that has to go on. And I would like to acknowledge as well, I suppose, Boyles, the construction company. They're doing huge work, as you know, with the new Shield Hospital and the new road. But over this weekend, they're very accommodating for us because we're taking over their site car park and that. So I just want to acknowledge them as well. So for now, we're looking forward to everything. Please keep updated on our social media. So that's on Instagram, Ballyshannon Folk Festival, on Facebook and on Twitter. And if you just search Ballyshannon Folk Festival, you'll get us on those. Also our website, which is ballyshannon.folkfestival.com. For the Charlie McGettigan and Paul Harrington concert, the tickets for that are on the Abbey Arts Centre website, which is www.abbeycentre.com. So that's for those, and I would advise particularly because that is limited number, because obviously the Abbey Centre can host only so many. It's a seated event, so I would advise people, if they want to go to that concert, and it will be a special night welcoming, I suppose, Charlie home after 25 years of winning the Eurovision. The Rock and Roll Kids will be back, so get your tickets for that. Don't miss out. But for everything else, we're on Eventbrite. So if you go onto Eventbrite and search Ballyshannon Folk Festival, you'll get all the details. So Shane, how did I do without notes?
You didn't do too bad, Mary. We'll get you back again next year. Thanks very much and best of luck with the festival.
Thank you very much, Shane.
The Bundoran Weekly.
Thank you, Mary. All the details in our show notes for the podcast, and we look forward to being in and around Ballyshannon on the August Bank Holiday weekend for the annual Ballyshannon Folk and Traditional Music Festival. Right now, let us head to Bundoran Community Centre, and in our community corner is Teresa O'Neill.
Thanks, Shane. Don't forget the Bundoran Bay Swim is on Saturday the 23rd of July at 2 p.m. Still plenty of time to sign up. All details are on the website at www.bundoranbayswim.com. Flow Your Own Way Yoga is on Tuesday 7:30 to 8:30. To book a place, contact flowyourownwayyoga@gmail.com. The Seafront Strollers is on every Tuesday at 12 p.m. and Thursday at 7 p.m. If you would like to join, please email bundorancommunitycentre@gmail.com. We offer printing, scanning and photocopying, and even have one public computer. If you have any queries, please call 071 98 29675 or email bundorancommunitycentre@gmail.com.
Teresa, thank you. We'll talk to you again next week. Have a good one. Don't forget, you can contact us at podcast@bundoranweekly.com, and you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter @Bundoran Weekly, and follow us wherever you're listening right now, or indeed stream and download all episodes on demand at bundoranweekly.com. As we mentioned earlier on, we are on Instagram. If you're on Instagram and you're in and around Bundoran and you'd like to brighten up your Instagram stories, then we have got something nice for you. If you check into Giphies, If you search for Bundoran under GIF, then you'll find some nice little animations that you can add to your Discover Bundoran stories and get them out there. So that is there for you to use, and they are free of charge, of course. That is going to do it for our podcast for this week, which is also now available on YouTube and, of course, your favourite podcast app. We will talk to you again next Friday for the beginning of the madness of the weekend of C-Sessions. Have a great week. We'll talk to you then. Good luck.
The Bundoran Weekly is a production of Discover Bundoran.
The Bundoran Weekly is brought to you by AIB, supporting local businesses in Bundoran. For more, see aib.ie.